You are not here by accident. We are standing at the edge of possibilities between what is, what could, and what will be. Where time, space, and humanity cross paths. Where the future has stopped being theory as old assumptions fade away and new realities are becoming real. Are you ready to step beyond the familiar? Look no further and enter the third horizon.
Before we begin, there is something strange about the age we live in. Never before in human history have we had access to so much knowledge. Every discovery, every success, every failure, stored, indexed, searchable in seconds. And yet, we continue to repeat the same mistakes. Civilizations rise, overextend, lose cohesion, and fail or fall. Financial systems collapse or rebuilt and collapse again. Warnings are issued, lessons are learned, and then quietly forgotten. It raises a difficult question. So the question becomes, if knowledge continues to expand, why do societies continue to repeat the same mistakes? What is missing between what we know and how we act? Intelligence is not the problem. Information is not the problem, but something far more abstract. The ability to think across time. And if knowledge is increasing, why does not wisdom seem to increase with it? Tonight, we explore that missing piece. In episode 15, we explored what happens when cohesion breaks down, when tribal instincts begin to override institutions. But that raises a deeper question. Why do we keep repeating these patterns, even when we know or have seen them before? Most people live in the present. They respond to what's in front of them. Deadlines, pressures, immediate concerns. Some people, however, study the past. They read history, analyze events, understand what came before. Others focus on the future. They plan, forecast, imagine what could be. But very few do something more difficult, and that are those who integrate all three: the past, the present, and of course, the future, into a single way of thinking. This is what we call, on the third horizon, historical consciousness. Historical consciousness is not just knowing history. It is the ability to use history to recognize patterns, to understand consequences, to see that decisions made today do not exist in isolation. They are part of a chain. What we inherit, what we shape, and what we pass forward. It is this awareness that we are not just living in time, we are participating in it. When historical consciousness is absent, systems become fragile because decisions are made in isolation. Short-term thinking begins to dominate. Warning signs are ignored because they resemble something no one remembers. We have seen this before. The slow erosion of institutional safeguards in the Roman Republic. The overconfidence in financial systems before the 2008 crisis. Even in highly technical environments, like the Challenger disaster, where known risk normalized over time, which made these no longer treated as warnings. In each case, the pattern was not invisible. It was forgotten. And now, a word for our sponsors.
This episode of The Third Horizon is brought to you by CoinToss Coffee, a brand built on passion, family, and the bold leap into possibility. Every blend is handcrafted from Kevin's own recipes, including their best-selling Cowboy Roast, bold, smooth, and unforgettable. And right now, listeners of The Third Horizon can enjoy 10% off their order at cointosscoffee.com using promo code Horizon10. That is cointosscoffee.com. CoinToss Coffee. Take a chance on a better cup.
But there are moments in history where something different happens, where leaders, institutions, and systems begin to think across time. The founding fathers of the United States of America didn't just design a government. They studied the failures of the past republics and other institutions and built safeguards accordingly. The Apollo program was not just a technological achievement. It was an integration of knowledge from science, engineering, military systems, and institutional coordination, all aligned towards a long-term objective. The Dutch Delta Works, a response not just to flooding, but to centuries of learning about water, risk, and survival. None of these were accidents. They were examples of applied historical consciousness. In earlier eras, The cost of forgetting was often regional. A failed state, a collapsed economy, a lost generation. Today, the stakes are higher. Our systems are more complex, more connected, and more interdependent than ever before. A failure in one system can cascade into all the others. Finance, infrastructure, information, governance. When complexity increases, the margin for error decreases, and the cost of forgetting rises. And now, another word for our sponsors.
This episode of The Third Horizon is also brought to you by FCA, Fine Consulting Agency. If you need high-level policy analysis, structured research, or strategic writing tailored for government, space governance, or nonprofit sectors, FCA delivers clarity, organization, and deep insight. Learn more at FCAOnline.info, that is FCAOnline.info.
We often confuse knowledge with wisdom, but they are not the same. Knowledge tells us what's happening. Wisdom tells us what it means. Knowledge accumulates, but accumulation is not the same as integration. And when integration is unassisted, it fails. Systems will begin to break under their own complexity, unless assisted by wisdom. Wisdom integrates as well, and integration requires time, which includes past lessons, present awareness, and future consequences, all of which is held together in a single frame. Here on the Third Horizon, we call this wisdom horizontal integration. This integration reveals a critical distinction. Knowledge expands what we can do, but wisdom determines what we should do. And without the ability to think across time, those two begin to separate. We are entering a period of accelerated change. Artificial intelligence, biotechnology, space expansion, technologies that will shape the structure of civilization itself. But technology does not come with judgment. That still belongs to human beings. The question is not whether we will have the capability to act. The question is whether we will have the wisdom to guide it. Because without historical consciousness and wisdom horizontal integration, power expands faster than understanding. And that is where systems begin to break. As our capabilities accelerate, the consequences of poor judgment also accelerates. Because decisions made today are no longer isolated. They scale across systems, across societies, and across time. Knowledge without integration creates risk. Wisdom integrates across time and creates stability. And the systems that endure are the ones that learn, not just once, but continuously. If there is one ideal worth carrying forward, it is this. The future is not built from the present alone. It is built from the past, understood clearly, and applied with intention. Wisdom is not simply knowing more. It is seeing further across time and acting accordingly. But there is one final question we have not answered. If wisdom comes from integrating the past, the present, and the future, then what exactly should guide our decisions? Because history teaches many lessons. Not all of them point in the same direction. Some ideals build trust. Others create division. Some systems help societies endure. Others slowly weaken the very foundations they depend upon. So if wisdom helps us see further, how do we determine which values are actually worth carrying forward? And how do we distinguish between moral systems that strengthen civilization and those that quietly undermine it? This is where our journey takes us next. Because understanding the future requires more than knowledge, more than wisdom. It requires understanding the principles that guide both. And that brings us to our next episode. Values that scale, the architecture of morality. If you are someone who senses the world shifting, if you feel the tension between what is and what could be, if you believe humanity is meant for something more, then welcome. This is the Third Horizon. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. More conversations are coming, deeper, wider, and firmly focused on the future. If you enjoyed today's podcast, hit the like button, let us know in the comments, and subscribe to our Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook channels, or whatever platform you are listening from. And do not forget to share this podcast with your friends and family. Until next week, or next time, keep your eyes on the horizon and beyond. And I want to let my listeners know that I have started college again. I'm trying to finish my master's degree, And so there may be some delays in episodes getting out. Don't worry, I will get them out as soon as I can, but you might be some delays from week to week. But I will get the episodes out as soon as I can. So I just wanted everybody to know that. And again, keep your eyes on the horizon and beyond.